Y'all, I just saw a post that said procrastination is the arrogance that God will give you another chance to do tomorrow what he gave you the chance to do today. I ain't been the same since.
Procrastination is simply the arrogant assumption that God owes you another opportunity to do what it is that you had time to do in the first place. What are you doing? Why are you procrastinating? You keep putting it off and putting it off. Just do it. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing, sis? Be for real. You could be spending your time doing things that you actually want to do, but you want to sit here and procrastinate and put off the things that you know you need to do because you would rather do the things that you want to do. You see, you would rather do what's hard and necessary later, assuming that you get it later, and you would rather do what's easy and what's convenient. You would rather do that stuff now. I need you to tighten up for real. I need you to tighten up. Stop procrastinating. Stop putting it off. Do it now. 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 Get off these apps sitting here laughing. Get off these apps. Go do it. Do it now.
If you teach yourself that every time that something starts to become uncomfortable or every time I start to feel pain, that to me tells me I have the permission to stop. You're going to apply it into everything that you're going to do. You're going to apply it to your fitness journey, taking care of yourself. You're going to apply it to everything, your career goals, whatever goals you have. And that's a skill to learn that, to learn to say, sit with something as it is uncomfortable, because on the other side of it being uncomfortable is what you have asked for. There's nothing that is worth having in life that you will receive without having to be some level of uncomfortable. I'll find myself in a situation whereby I'm in the position to do the things that I said I want to do, right? I said I want to do this year, I want to achieve that, it starts to get a little difficult. Now it's harder to wake up in the morning, or now it's harder to put in those extra hours at night. Then it's like you start to think, do I really want this thing? And when you give yourself, if you're someone that teaches your mind that I can choose to not do something because it is hard, I can choose to not do something because it's uncomfortable, I promise you, you'll find it very difficult to do anything that is worth going after. And that's something that I try to teach myself. I was at my first influencer event today and got there. I know no one, not a single person there. People there know each other, they're in groups and all of that. Arriving, you have no one that you know there. And I said to myself, I picked up the phone, I called my best friend. I've done this multiple times. I call her, I'm talking to her on the phone because I'm nervous and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to speak to, right? And I could easily sit there and be uncomfortable. I literally say to myself, we're going to put the phone down and we are going to make this work. We're going to speak, we're going to talk to people. Okay, I don't know how, but you're going to throw yourself in the deep end. I promise you, when you teach yourself that being uncomfortable is not a sign to stop, but a sign to speak, talk yourself through what you're going through. Remind yourself that you deserve to be in this room. Remind yourself that you deserve to have this opportunity to do this, that it is within your means to do this thing. It is within the will of God for you to be in this space right now. And once you learn that and you grasp that, because as I said on my story the other day, that your year is not going to become a result of what you wish you had more time to do, or the opportunities that you wish you had, or I wish I had the chance to do this, I wish I had the right friends, the right connections, the right amount of money, the right amount of, your year's not going to become what you wish you had. Your year becomes what you did. So what you do, the things that you're doing, not the things that you say, I'm going to start in July, and I'm going to wait for the winter. Now I'll get back to the gym maybe in March. Let me start again. You become the things that you actually do. So you got to make a decision with yourself to say, I keep making promises to myself that I'm going to start this thing, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to try that, I'm going to try this, but I never do. What is the reason for that? And that conversation that you have with yourself, where you teach yourself to say, what is the thing within me that stops me from doing the things that I've said, that I have committed? No one put the pressure on you to say, do these things. The things that I have said I'm going to do, but I still don't do them. What is the thing, what's the thought process in my head that makes me not do the things that I say I'm going to do? When you have that conversation with yourself and you teach yourself that, and you teach yourself to figure out what that is. I know for myself, when I used to struggle with getting things done, and I still do till this day, like, I don't get me wrong, I still have days where I'm freaking, it's a lazy day. Like, I'm in bed and I'm like, I have to push, like, and when I get like that, I pray and I tell God and I say, I'm not lazy, I'm not a procrastinator, I'm not distracted, I have things to do. And I'm gonna, obviously there are days when, okay, it's understandable, maybe you're tired and this and that happening. Rest is good. But there are times where you have to talk yourself out of this mood that is making you feel like, nah, let's just lie in, or let's just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Any and everything that you've said you want to achieve, those things that you wrote down at the beginning of the year that you say you want to do, they're on the side of you being uncomfortable. When it starts to get painful, when it's hard, when motivation is not there anymore, that is not a sign to stop at the thing that you're trying to achieve. That is a sign to dig deep. And how do you dig deep? I don't know if you've got God. I recommend God because I don't know what else I could, you know what I'm saying? For me, the dig deep is I go to God because I know the person that gave me the vision that he had spoken over my life to say, you put this in me. So I'm telling you that it's getting hard. I'm uncomfortable. This is painful. And it's not going to get easier also. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not the kind of situation where it's like, oh, my darling is in pain. Let me lift that. No, it doesn't lift. You got to go through that because that's what brings forth the person that is required of you for that thing that you've asked for. The version of you that is needed for that thing that you've asked for. You have to go through that pain or that discomfort. You have said that, oh, I want to do this with my year. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to achieve this. I have these goals. Make your request known to God through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, and a peace that surpasses all understanding will be given unto you. So that means that with you, as you make your request known to God, there's a peace that should come with it. The peace is not you writing your goals down and forgetting what your goals were. January, you created a vision board. You barely remember what you wrote down. That ain't it. Because if you don't know your goals, I promise you, if you're not focused on your goals or you're not giving them attention, I promise you, I don't think he is. So you know your goals, make your request. There's a peace that comes with it. The peace comes with, I'm now in a position to be uncomfortable for what I have asked God for. So say he's going to put me in position for what I've asked for. So I'm putting myself in position, and your position is passenger seat. Let him handle the driver's seat. That's not your position to play, to be in control, to want to lead. Oh, I have a timeline of how it's supposed to work. That's not your part. That's his. Let him be God. Don't be God in your own life. And in the same breath, that doesn't mean that you make your request made known to God and you fold your arms and you sit and be like, right, that's my part done. When I started this whole content creation thing, the thing that got me to where I am was not the fact that I had the money for it or the connections for it, where people, and at that time it was all about who do you know. I knew no one in this space. Nothing. No connection for it. I didn't have the money for it. My best friend bought me my first ring light. My first 3 phones were all hand-me-downs. Broken skins, broken cameras, whatever it is. First phone couldn't even take pictures like that. And the thing that put me in position or qualified or made me where I am today is not what I had. It's because I knew that with nothing that I had, I could do something with it. What that looked like for me was I was sitting at 3-4 a.m. literally watching TV, and luckily I used to sleep on the couch, so I had the TV right there. So I had I'd be watching YouTube, taking notes, literally writing down. I didn't have a laptop, couldn't afford nothing. On my book, I would write down how to edit, video ideas, all of that stuff. And this is 3 years before I even had the opportunity to have a YouTube channel. I'm writing down notes and all of that, taking that hunger that you show for something, the hunger that you show to say, I want this thing, is what puts you in position for those things. Not the stuff where you do, it's like you forget you even wanted to do that thing. No, with nothing, I promise you can do something. Whether it's giving your time, the little money that I would receive, I'll take it and invest it back into this thing that I was doing, where people were laughing in my face about what I was trying to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's within you, and you got to dig deep and put yourself in position for those blessings.
I saw a quote that said a perfectionist is just a procrastinator with a mask. And I felt that to my core, because the more time you spend thinking about something, the less time you have to spend actually doing it. And I think it's easy to hide behind like, oh, I'm just perfecting my craft. But you haven't crafted nothing. And I feel like the easiest part of the creative process is planning. And that's why so many people get stuck there, because there's no criticism there, right? And as long as you plan around perfection, you never have to actually produce anything, because things will never be perfect. And for a lot of us, I feel like it comes from a place of fear and failure, or being seen failing, right? Because I don't want to go all in on a business and then it flops. I don't want to go all in on going to the gym and they laugh at me, right? But I mean this in the nicest way possible. You're already failing. You're at 0 if you never start anyways, right? And just imagine what 10% could do for you, right? Imagine you might never get the $1 million business plans, but what would $10,000 do for you right now? You might never look you taking fitness advice from South Africans. You might never look like them, but what if just a little bit more fitness do for your lifespan? And that's not to criticize nobody. I direct things at myself first. It's just you either got to take a risk or lose the chance. Because the only thing worse than failure is watching opportunities pass you by and having to live a what-if lifestyle. Or ending up one of them people that's always talking about what could have been.
The reason why you're procrastinating is because you hate the idea of not knowing how to do something. The reason why I know that is because that's why I am a chronic procrastinator. But here's what I have figured out. You can never figure out how to do something unless you start somewhere. There is not going to be some perfect time that you're going to be ready to know how to do the thing. You have to iterate. You have to start somewhere and get better. It's okay. Listen, I'm here to tell you, it's okay that you don't know how to do the thing. It's okay that you can't perfectly do the thing the first time. But do not allow that to paralyze you from taking action in the first place, because then time will continue to pass and you will ask yourself, why didn't I just start sooner? If I started sooner, I would have been there by now. Get started now. Take one small step today towards one of your dreams. Just one small step. Okay, love you, bye.
And I don't know who the fuck needs to hear this one today, but I don't think you truly understand how good your life is going to get when you just start doing the things that you know that you need to do in order to get yourself to that next level. Everybody massively overthinks this, and they keep themselves then stuck in this box, and they never get to where they want to be because they spend more time overthinking and thinking about doing it instead of actually doing it. Is it scary? Yeah, of course it is. It's fucking normal. But you want to know something that's actually scary? Looking back in 10 years from now and thinking about the person that you could have became if you just started doing the things that you know that you needed to be doing right now. Everybody massively overthinks this, but if you stopped overthinking everything and you just started taking so much fucking action in the direction you know that you want your life to go in, this is when things are going to get better than ever. And you have this idea that it has to be harder than it is because your programming is bad. And once you realize that all of this programming is nothing more than shit that you grew up with and shit that other people told you was true, but none of it's actually true, it's just limiting thoughts and beliefs, and you learn how to break through those things and become the best version of you, that's what your life is going to look like. But it starts with you being fucking brave.
This is going to sound insane, but hear me out. Your mind is a really, really creative part of your life, and it will self-sabotage so creatively, you won't even know it's happening. So let's take the example of, like, let's say you grew up without any money, and you find yourself blaming that trait in your life in a lot of conversations. Maybe you accidentally put yourself in, like, the victim position. You complain to friends. You always say, oh, that doesn't apply to me. I didn't grow up with money. My parents weren't rich, whatever it is. What's going to end up happening is that your mind will start identifying so much with that struggle and so much with that victim mentality that it'll start sabotaging opportunities in your life without you knowing it to keep you away from wealth. This applies to everything, but wealth is the example here. So it'll start undermining opportunities, procrastinating opportunities, being like, oh, that's not going to work out for me. Oh, I would never get as lucky as this person. Starting a YouTube channel would never work. Getting that job would never work for me, because your mind would rather keep you in familiar territory, even if that's not what's best for you, because your mind's job is not to make you thrive. It's just meant to make you survive. And survival is often associated with familiarity. So your mind will keep you in the struggle if that's what's familiar and that's what you've been identifying with, because it doesn't know who you would be if you were to get rid of that struggle. Sit with that. Yeah, you're stopping you.
You're procrastinating on something, you're not lazy, you're not flawed, there's nothing wrong with you. You're procrastinating because the task that you need to do is bringing up uncomfortable emotions that you really, really want to avoid. The assignment that you're procrastinating on, you don't know how to get started, that's uncomfortable. The doctor's appointment you're putting off, you're afraid of what might happen, uncomfortable. Phone call that you're avoiding making, you don't want to have a conflict, uncomfortable. So to avoid these emotions, you run as far as you can in the opposite direction. But as everyone who's ever procrastinated knows, the more that you avoid something, the more those uncomfortable emotions build and build and build until eventually they're so big that even a simple task seems completely overwhelming. There are 3 strategies that I'm going to give you to help with this. 1, make the task more enjoyable. Anything that you can do to bring some positive emotions to the table will help make doing the task easier. You need to study, ask a friend to join you. If you're going to the doctor, reward yourself with something after. If you have to clean your house, put on a favorite song. Strategy 2, make sure that you actually know how to do the task. Let's say you're procrastinating on an email you need to send your boss about a problem that you have in your project. Maybe you're not doing it because you're not actually sure how to communicate the update to them. Ask yourself, do I know what I'm trying to do? And if I don't, how can I learn, or who can I ask for help with it? Strategy 3, redefine success for the task. We often procrastinate on something because we're afraid of failing at it. It's wonderful that you want to do a good job on this, but there is absolutely no way that you will be able to do that if you never start. So you need to come back to the present moment and remember that success does not mean getting it perfect. It means getting it done. In this moment, you will be successful if you start and complete this task.